got lasers. So we're being jammed.
Live and Let Drive is a road trip show. But today, instead of a road trip, we're going to talk about how to go on a road trip, which is why we're here today at beautiful Monticello Motor Club with my 2000 E39 BMW M5, the greatest BMW ever made. And I'm not talking about the E39, I'm referring to my specific BMW M5. The world's most infamous M5, the car, which I took around the world, Thailand, Albania, North Africa, and across country to break the cross-country record. New York to LA in 31 hours and 4 minutes. A drive I took with my old friend David Maher, the greatest driver I've ever met.
Alex, good to see you as always.
Good to see you.
And thanks for the accolade, but clearly you haven't met a lot of drivers if you think I'm the greatest one you've ever met.
8 years ago when I first called you, that was true. I didn't even know how to drive myself. But in those 8 years, I've met a lot of drivers, and I've actually gone to the track. And were I, say, to wake up one day and want to break our own record, without a doubt, you're the only man I would call.
And even though that would never happen,
never,
because that's
it's
totally
illegal. It's illegal.
I would probably say yes, and the reason is because we have two totally different styles of driving. You, while you're a little bit more cautious behind the wheel, you're also very focused on all of the intangibles, whether it be the weather, the cops, or the radar, the lasers. And me, having spent over a decade now doing track driving, instructing with Porsche Club, etc., I think that I feel more comfortable at speed behind the wheel.
Let's just say he called me a coward. I thought he was irresponsible. Somewhere in between is the answer to safe driving. In the last 10 years, when one ostensibly would say that I was racing, most of what I was doing was actually street racing. Street racing while on road trips. And it was very irresponsible. But in the last 10 years, I've gone from getting tickets fairly frequently and becoming notorious for doing so in a humorous way. I realized that I actually didn't care so much about driving fast as about just driving. In 2007, after my book came out, we went public with a cross-country record, I began getting very weird phone calls from the FBI, from MIT, from Stanford, from Google, asking me to come explain how we did what we did. They weren't interested specifically in driving fast, but how it was we drove from A to B safely. We spent, when we were planning to go cross-country, hundreds of hours of preparation for every 1 hour in the car. It's a ratio that's the opposite of the average person who gets in an accident. The list of things one must do to drive safely from A to B at any speed are so obvious that for us to have accomplished what we did was not that big of a stretch over the common, everyday things the average driver often overlooks. Step 1, check your tire pressure. $5, buy a gauge, any gas station, going along a road trip, check your tire pressure. Step 2, check your mirrors. Step 3, no clutter in the car in case you have an accident. For example, why would anyone have a bullhorn in their car? Well, I do. Very dangerous, bad idea. This empty bottle makes it look like a meth head. Number 4, don't draw attention to yourself. For example, a headlight that stops working when you hit a bump, like mine, very foolish. And then you have this. You should know the laws of the jurisdiction in which you reside and in which you will be driving. For example, New York State, where I live, requires a front plate. My car, no front plate. Very foolish. Very foolish. Number 5, passing. Safe pass. Today at Monticello Motor Club, we learned, or at least got reminded, of what it means to pass safely. Monticello is one of the longest back straights in the United States. A safe environment to learn or relearn the lesson. Point number 5, even I forgot. Passing techniques. Here, David Maher demonstrates how not to pass someone who won't get out of the left lane. Something that I did going cross-country when I passed a busload of nuns and almost went to jail for it. The difference between someone calling you an asshole and calling the police and saying, this asshole just passed me, depends completely on how you execute the pass. And if and when they do move, give them space to move out of the way and feel comfortable that you're not going to do something that makes them feel in additional danger. 6, know your tools. Don't assume that because you have a radar detector, a laser jammer, a police scanner, better tires, bigger brakes, or a great car, that you are as good as any of the devices. A tool is only as effective as the user's knowledge of it. We will now demonstrate the correct way to go over the crest, coming up at illegal speeds. Not that we would ever do that. Maher, would you know?
Of course not. But as you're coming up, and then say, bam, right now you get your radar signal, and then there he is. Now you have your visual of the cop.
And there he is. We've got him. Has he got us? I don't know, because we slow down before the crest to the speed limit. A radar gun can hit you a quarter to half mile away, but frequently is employed to hit you at a few hundred feet. You really should not be using a detector or a jammer to drive at any speed unless you understand how they work.
So, Alice, what you're saying is with a radar, since it's through the airwaves, your detector can pick that up without being line of sight, whereas with a laser, you need to have a direct point at you before it gets picked up. Correct.
Radar signals bounce and reflect like radio. So, over a hill, you'll pick up radar, but laser, you won't pick up until he's hit you. Your only shot is to have a pair of jammers or slow down before he hits you. Let's see if that works this time.
Nothing.
Got the lasers.
Nothing.
So we're being jammed.
Nothing.
Looks like we had a full jam that time. The jammers fully worked. So the cop got no read on us, which meant that the jammers worked up until and past the point where we went by the cop.
Most people derive a false sense of security from everything that they buy. Because you can afford it doesn't mean you know it.
Weird.
Why?
I'm always getting in the rear of your car, just not the front.
Because the front's covered in anti-laser
That's
paint.
what I was thinking, yeah.
Appendix point number 4. Although it will cause your headlights to be a little dimmer and therefore make it less safe to drive at night, laser veil anti-laser coating does appear to have quite a mitigating effect on the effectiveness of laser guns.
I may not have gotten a ticket in a long time, but I deserved almost every ticket I ever got. But I would go absolutely bonkers if I, like many people today, received a ticket I didn't deserve. It's obvious that this happens all the time. In New Jersey today, if you get a ticket, you can pay a double fine to avoid getting points, which is like the most transparent proof of the absolutely outrageous thing that speeding tickets has become. Follow these basic tips. Drive more safely at any speed. And in another episode, we'll get into exactly how to use a radar detector and laser jammer in order to avoid other problems with the law. Not that I would ever suggest that. Ever. What?
Telltale sign for the cop to know that you've been speeding.
Oh, seriously.
So get out to where you want to do the first one. Put the clutch in. Rev the engine. Dump the clutch.
Wow. It's so easy. I should be doing this all my life. Never done it before.
That's good. Have fun?
Isn't that fun?
Enjoy that?
This now will be my drift car.
This is
I will make
now
you
my
my
drift